Scribble's a juggalo, whoop whoop. And quit trying to mess me up, Magnet. But I did a video today before I left for work. I finally got a little bit of work. Thank God. Thank you, God, for the work. Because my life is crumbling without work. And I'm soon to be homeless, living in a van down by the river. That'll be horrible. Chris Farley's ghost, living in a van down by the river. If I do not get steady work, but I did work today, and I did this video before work. The video was a couple days ago. Never mind, wrong video. Anyway, I did a video about when I met DJ Clay and Twiztid in Connecticut, and it's a cute little story. I think it's a cute little story about how I met these guys. And I'm proud of it because it was special to me. It was a special moment for me, even though it wasn't a very big moment. But what I really want is to do another video. But I want juggalos. I want you ninjas and ninjettes and juggalos and juggalettes to really leave comments and tell me stories about you guys meeting the psychopathic artists like Violent J, because I love hearing that shit. Leave video responses. Leave written responses. Like, I was in the emergency room like a year ago, and I met this juggalette. I never even told you this, Magnet. Maybe I have. And she was talking about, she saw my juggalo tats. And I was in there, I was really sick. I think I had 105 fever, or like deathly ill. And of course, like by the time I got to see the doctor, my fever went down to like 99 or something, and it was better, you know. But if it only went in there, if they only saw how bad it was. But anyway, they probably thought I was overreacting. But God, I was sick. But anyway, so there's this juggalette that's in the waiting room also, because you wait forever at this fucking hospital, Denver General. And she's telling me about how she hung out with Shaggy Two Dope, and this is back in the day. And she was, I don't know how old she was, like 25 or something, or 26, but she was fucking hot. And she hung out on their tour bus with ICP. And she kept mentioning Shaggy. And, like, she had a lot of details. I could tell she wasn't lying, because she had a lot of details. But she wasn't telling me the whole story, and I kept asking her questions, because I was just amazed at that. It was like, holy shit. Well, she finally revealed, without coming out and saying it, that she fucked Shaggy Two Dope. And I was like, holy shit, that isn't... This juggalette has an interesting story for the rest of her life, you know? And because she kept talking about Shaggy, and she hinted around and talked about how well she knew him. Told me a little too much, more than I needed to know about him, when I kept asking her questions and shit. Because it's an interesting story. But anyway, like, some of us have had brief encounters with ICP and Boondocks and ABK and Blaze and Mikey Clark and DJ Clay and Twiztid and all the other ones at A&B that left the Psychopathic record label. Some of us had brief encounters with them, and some of us have better stories that are really interesting. My homie Magnet was talking to Paul at Twiztid on the same day I met him. I didn't want to pester him because I don't do that with celebrities or rock stars. I just talk, I love you guys. I talked to him for a minute, showed him the tat, blah, 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 said a few things, and I was out of there. Magnet was trying to get him to smoke weed with him, and he revealed a lot of cool shit, didn't he, Magnet? Says he doesn't smoke weed because he's bipolar, which is interesting. And I'm not giving out any information that people don't already know. And then he started talking about, you're telling me how he was talking about Shaggy Two Dope, right? Right, Magnet? Yeah. And said shit about how Shaggy gets so fucked up. This is back in Dark Lotus, Opaque Brotherhood. How he's freaked him out because they'll find him, like, Shaggy ends up missing, They got a concert to perform in a few hours, 5-6 hours. And Shaggy's like, where's Shaggy Two Dope? And they got to go drive around and look for him. They send out a bunch of people, and they found him at a bus stop laying on a bus stop because he was out drinking and he passed out on this bus stop, and they finally found the motherfucker.
That's where they find him a lot.
As Paul said, that's where they find him a lot. And Paul shouldn't be telling everyone this story, you know, but he's proud of. He likes telling this kind of shit, you know, because it's interesting too, and because it's interesting shit, you know. But anyway, this isn't any information that people don't already know about. Shaggy admits on his radio show, The Fuck Eva, that he likes to party. It's one of his downfalls. What do you call it? One of his like bad secrets, that he likes to party, so he gets fucked up. But anyway, that was an interesting story. So this is another video similar to that one. The first video I did is about me meeting them, and I want this video to be about you juggalos and juggalettes, and when you met them, and what was your encounters, your brief encounters, and what did it mean to you? Like there was, like another story real quick, that when I didn't meet Violent J, but he just waved to me. Well, I had 2 encounters with him, and it means a lot to me, and I'll remember the rest of my life. Like I'd gotten in a accident, I broke my left clavicle, and I tore my left rotator cuff, and my right wrist was broken. I was fucked up. I was in a sling, and 2 slings, I think, and I had them all red. I had my cast made red, and I put black hatchet men on it, and I had the cloth sling for the surgery I had, the clavicle surgery. I had hatchet men on that and shit. I even had them all fucking decked out in ninja style, in my fucking bandages and all that. But anyway, Violent J threw me a Fago, and it hit me in the chest, and I wasn't even that far from him, but I couldn't catch because I was all fucking had this. I couldn't move my shoulder because I had surgery. I had titanium screw in it, and the right wrist I couldn't do much with that, so I only had a little bit of movement. And it hit my chest, and it fell on the ground. It was a Fago with the lid on it, and the reason I know he handed it to me is because I dropped it, and I had this reaction of like, oh, you know, and I looked up at him, and then he threw me another one, but he didn't really throw it. He just kind of handed it out to me and gently tossed it to me, just like 1.5 feet away. Do you remember that one? That was cool, wasn't it? And then there was another encounter. I couldn't get into the Wraith concert because they were here in 2 nights in Denver, Shangri-La, and it was such a popular show because it was a 6 Jokers album, and both shows were sold out at the Ogden. Tickets were going for like $100, $200. Some of them went for $200. And I tried to get into that venue, and I tried every way I could. I tried to go through tried to sneak in, and the security guards grabbed me and threw me out really hard. This could go on my other video about security guards at ISP shows that beach up. And then, well, it's kind of my fault. I did sneak in. But they didn't have to be that rough. And then, but anyway, so I couldn't get in, even though I had $100 because I had this insurance settlement for like $1,000. You know, so I go to this concert with like $800 because I spent $200 on something else. If you know what I'm saying. We won't go there. But anyway. So, I even tried. Didn't have the ticket, couldn't get. There wasn't any to scalp. They were going for $200, $250 towards the end. So I tried walking through the line with a $100 bill. And I handed it to the lady that takes the tickets and scans them. And I don't think back then they scanned them. They tore them back then. This is the race Shangri-La. And she looked at it like it was a turd. Do you remember that? Did you see that? Magnet. She looked at it like, oh, like what are you doing? Like, I'm here, just let me in. Here's $100, just let me in. And she wouldn't take it. And she even waved over her boss, you know, because it's like, I'd done something wrong, you know. Like, I'm just trying to give her $100. It's $100 for you, ticket lady. Just take the thing, put it in your pocket, let me in the fucking show. She wouldn't do it. So anyway, I had to wait out back. I had a lot of time on my hands. I met this dude, and we were talking about ICP and playing ICP in the car. So I did have a good time, but God, it was cold. It was like -5, and I was all bundled up. I had every hockey jersey on. My Blaze, the original first Blaze, the first one they made. I wish I still had that. I had Dark Lotus, the first Dark Lotus jersey made. And I had all these jerseys, and I was like this thick, but I was still freezing my ass off. And I figured I'm going to wait behind the Ogden and see if I could see him leaving and shout out some whoop whoops and maybe, I don't know what I wanted, get something signed, just get something out of it because I couldn't get in, you know. Just see something or just, you know, you're always hoping for an encounter, like just Violent J or Shaggy, just, you know, what up, Ninja, you know, just to be acknowledged. So anyway, so I'm waiting out back, and Violent J came out, and he didn't have face paint on, and I didn't recognize him. So I was looking around, you know. I think I was smoking a cigarette. This other dude who opened, I think it was Tech 9 who opened, was handing out cigarettes that somebody gave them, or one of their dudes gave them like a bunch of these weird cigarettes. They had cartons of these cigarettes. This dude's handing me a bunch of cigarettes. I'm like, cool. So I was smoking. So so then they leave, and I could tell which SUV it was. It was a nice one. It was a fucking Cadillac Escalade, if I'm right, with black tinted windows, really tinted. And they got out of there quick. And then the security guard back there, who didn't let me get too close, says, well, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Like, what do you mean? Well, he waved to you. Like, you're the only ninja back here. He didn't use the word ninja, but he waved to you. Well, I didn't see it, but anyway, it was an encounter I had. So anyway, if you guys have stories about when you met the artist from Psychopathic Records and does it mean a lot to you, and even if they're not interesting stories, just like the ones I told, like they're just basically tiny little brief encounters, but it means a lot to me, and your encounters probably mean a lot to you. So let's hear about them. Whoop whoop.